What if history isn't as clear as your textbooks told you? What if entire civilizations vanished? Books were written in languages no one can read, and even in our modern age, planes can disappear without a trace. Today, we're diving into 5 of the greatest historical mysteries, each one stranger than the last. And by the end, you'll be left asking yourself one terrifying question. If we can't explain the past, what makes you think we truly understand the present? The Nazca Lines, messages written in the desert. In the vast deserts of southern Peru, there are drawings so enormous they can only be fully seen from the sky. Monkeys, spiders, hummingbirds, geometric patterns stretching for kilometers. Created between 500 BC and 500 AD, the Nazca Lines were carved by removing the dark rocks of the desert surface, exposing the lighter soil underneath. Simple in technique, but impossibly precise in execution. How could an ancient civilization with no airplanes or satellites design figures spanning hundreds of meters that can only be appreciated from above? Theories vary. Some believe they were astronomical calendars. Others say they were ritual pathways for the gods. And of course, there are those who claim they are landing strips for ancient aliens. No artifacts, no writings, and no definitive answers. Just silent messages written into the earth for someone or something to see. And yet, the Nazca weren't the only ones to leave behind mysteries carved into history. Thousands of miles away, a colony of settlers would vanish, leaving behind just one word. The lost colony of Roanoke, Croatoan. In 1587, over 100 English settlers established a colony on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. But when the governor, John White, returned from a supply trip to England 3 years later, the colony was gone. Houses dismantled, fortifications abandoned. No bodies, no signs of struggle. The only clue was the word Croatoan carved into a tree. White assumed it meant the settlers had gone to Croatoan Island, but when he searched, there was no trace of them. To this day, their fate remains unknown. Some historians argue they integrated with local Native American tribes. Others believe they were wiped out by disease or conflict. But then there's the darker theory that something or someone erased them. Roanoke is often called America's first unsolved mystery, but it wouldn't be the last time humanity would be baffled by something written down. Because centuries later, another puzzle appeared. Not a single word carved into a tree, but an entire book, written in a language no one has ever understood. The Voynich Manuscript, the book no one can read. Locked away today inside Yale University's Baineka Library is a book unlike any other. A book filled with strange symbols, bizarre plants that don't exist, naked women bathing in impossible contraptions, and cosmic diagrams that defy explanation. The Voynich Manuscript, carbon dated to the early 1400s, is written in an unknown script. Despite centuries of effort, the world's greatest codebreakers, from medieval monks to modern AI, have failed to decipher it. Is it an elaborate hoax crafted by a medieval prankster? Or is it knowledge encoded so deeply that even with all our technology, we still lack the key to unlock it? Some say it's a medical text from a lost civilization. Others whisper it could be a book of alchemy, witchcraft, or even communication with another world. No Rosetta Stone exists, no translation, just pages of secrets. And secrets, as history shows us, often come at an explosive price. The Tunguska Event, a blast with no crater. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, in a remote region of Siberia, a blinding flash lit up the sky. A fireball exploded with the force of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs, flattening 80 million trees across 2,000 square kilometers. The shockwave was felt as far as Europe. Night skies glowed for weeks, and yet there was no impact crater, no meteor fragments, nothing. The most accepted explanation is that a meteor exploded in the atmosphere before hitting the ground. But without physical evidence, the door remains open for stranger theories. Some believe it was a comet of pure ice that vaporized instantly. Others suggest it was a test of Nikola Tesla's experimental death ray. And then, of course, there are the whispers of an alien craft exploding in the sky. Over a century later, scientists are still arguing. No fragments, no crater, just a wound in the forest, and a silence that refuses to answer. But if you think mysteries like this only belong to ancient times, you're wrong. Because in the 21st century, with satellites and radar and global tracking, an entire passenger plane can still just vanish. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, the plane that disappeared. March 8, 2014. A routine flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. 239 passengers and crew. Somewhere over the South China Sea, the plane simply disappeared from radar. What followed was the largest and most expensive search operation in aviation history. And yet, no wreckage was found for years. Only a handful of parts later washed up on distant shores, barely enough to prove the plane even crashed. What happened in those final hours? Theories are endless. A sudden mechanical failure that crippled the aircraft? A pilot suicide mission deliberately steering the plane into oblivion? A hijacking gone wrong? Or something far stranger? An event that took the plane beyond the limits of our understanding? To this day, MH370 remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the modern world. A chilling reminder that even with satellites, GPS, and advanced technology, humanity can still lose track of 239 souls in the blink of an eye. From desert carvings visible only from the sky, to colonies that vanish overnight. From books no one can read, to blasts that leave no crater, and planes that disappear in our modern skies. These mysteries remind us of one haunting truth. The past isn't fully written, and the present isn't fully understood. So I'll leave you with this question. If these events scattered across centuries remain unsolved, what mysteries are unfolding right now, hidden in plain sight, that we simply don't have the tools to see? Maybe the answer is waiting for us in the future, or maybe it was never meant for us to know. If you enjoyed exploring the unknown, make sure to subscribe to CurioSphere, where we dive deep into the mysteries of our world every single week. And if you want to uncover even darker, stranger secrets, check out my ebook, Hidden Truths, linked below. Because sometimes the truth isn't hidden in the shadows. It's hidden in history itself.